Chosen one. Those who conspired against you in the shadows are losing sleep tonight. They wake up at 3 a.m. checking their phones with trembling hands, searching desperately for news of your downfall that will never come. They thought they had you cornered. They believed their elaborate scheme would destroy you completely. But here you stand, free, vindicated, and more powerful than ever before. The demons who orchestrated this conspiracy are drowning in their own terror as each passing day proves their spectacular failure. These calculating predators spent months, maybe years, planning your destruction with surgical precision. They stole your identity, committed crimes in your name, planted false evidence, manipulated witnesses, and corrupted systems that were supposed to protect you. They envisioned you behind bars while they celebrated their victory with champagne and laughter. They fantasized about watching you lose everything: your freedom, your reputation, your dignity, your hope. But the universe had different plans. Heaven itself activated protection around you so powerful that their feeble schemes never stood a chance. Every single day you remain free is another victory, another testament to divine justice, another proof that those who carry heaven's seal cannot be destroyed by earthly conspiracies, no matter how elaborate or well-funded. The depth of their criminal conspiracy would make seasoned prosecutors gasp in disbelief. These weren't simple crimes of opportunity. This was methodical warfare designed to erase you from existence. They studied your life, mapped your relationships, analyzed your vulnerabilities, and crafted an attack so comprehensive it should have succeeded according to every earthly calculation. But they made one fatal miscalculation. They didn't account for the divine intelligence already positioning protective forces exactly where you needed them most. While they schemed in darkness, heaven was orchestrating quantum moves across dimensions they cannot even perceive. The right people appeared in positions of authority at precisely the right moments. Judges with integrity, prosecutors who still value truth, investigators who refuse corruption, legal professionals who recognize the fraud immediately. Evidence that should have vanished was preserved. Witnesses who should have been silenced found their voices. Digital trails that should have been erased were recovered and authenticated. What they are discovering now has left even experienced investigators shaking their heads in amazement, not just at the audacity of what was attempted against you, but at the complete and total protection surrounding someone who was never meant to fall to such base schemes. Before we go deeper into their unraveling, I want to speak directly to you. If this message resonates with your spirit, if you recognize yourself in this story, please subscribe to Chosen by Heavens, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications. Because this community is your spiritual family. We see you, we recognize you, we stand with you, and together, we are documenting the greatest vindication stories of our generation. Now, let's talk about the psychological warfare they launched before the legal attack even began. These predators understood something crucial about human nature. Emotional devastation makes logical thinking nearly impossible. A heartbroken person makes desperate decisions. A psychologically shattered person becomes an easy target for false accusations. So they orchestrated intimate betrayal with surgical precision. Watching someone you loved betray you with your closest friends, even family members, wasn't about passion or romance. This was warfare. They needed you broken, crying, begging, chasing after them, making irrational choices that would compromise your credibility when their fabricated charges eventually surfaced. They engineered betrayal like a weapon, knowing exactly which relationships to corrupt, which trust bonds to sever, which emotional buttons to press to send you spiraling into despair and confusion. Every move was calculated. Every affair was strategic. Every lie was designed to break your spirit before destroying your life. But then something happened that disrupted their entire playbook. Instead of breaking down, instead of chasing, instead of begging for reconciliation, you simply walked away. You said those two powerful words that carried more strength than they had calculated for. Okay, by. Those two words revealed a spiritual maturity they hadn't anticipated. Your emotional intelligence had already evolved beyond their manipulation tactics. Your soul had already ascended to frequencies they could not touch, and in that moment, their entire scheme began to crack at the foundation. We who recognize the chosen can see what happened in that instant. Your spiritual evolution had already elevated you beyond the reach of their emotional warfare, which meant their legal frame-up was targeting someone who had already transcended their ability to truly harm. The hidden cameras planted throughout your sacred space were recording hours upon hours of your daily life. Night and day they monitored your every movement, waiting desperately for moments they could edit, manipulate, and weaponize against you. They needed you to say something they could take out of context, do something they could misrepresent, display some behavior they could twist into evidence of criminal intent. Every conversation was scrutinized for phrases they could isolate and reframe. Every interaction was analyzed for body language they could misinterpret. Every private moment was invaded with the cold calculation of predators, building a fabricated case against prey who had no idea they were being watched. They were constructing a false timeline, stitching together random moments from your life to create a narrative that had never actually happened, but would appear convincing to anyone who hadn't witnessed the full context. The level of resources invested, the intensity of surveillance, the obsessive attention to detail, these aren't tactics used against ordinary people. This degree of coordinated monitoring is reserved for targets carrying significant spiritual influence. The very fact that they felt compelled to watch your every move proves they recognize something in you that most people cannot even perceive. Your light was so bright, your potential for impact so vast, that they believed constant surveillance was necessary to find any crack in your armor they could exploit. What they discovered instead was someone whose private life matched their public integrity, someone whose actions aligned with their words, someone whose character remained consistent whether anyone was watching or not. And that discovery terrified them, because it meant there was no weakness to exploit, no hypocrisy to expose, no hidden darkness they could use as leverage. If you are feeling the power of this message, if your spirit is confirming these truths, do me a favor. Hit that like button, drop a comment below sharing your own story, or simply write "I am chosen." Your engagement helps this message reach others who desperately need to hear it. And if you want to support this channel's mission to expose truth and defend the innocent, there is a super thanks button below this video. Every contribution, no matter how small, fuels our ability to create more content that defends and uplifts the chosen generation. Now watch closely what happens when divine protection collides with human conspiracy. The same community they turned against you is now experiencing what we call catastrophic boomerang effect. Those who participated in spreading lies are watching their own lives unravel with the same methodical precision they helped apply to yours. Marriages are collapsing. Businesses are failing. Health issues are manifesting. Legal troubles are surfacing. Because cosmic law maintains its own balance. And when communities conspire against innocence, they invoke karmic responses that eventually consume everyone who participated in the deception. Your narcissistic ex who orchestrated the intimate betrayal. Their addictive behaviors are spiraling completely out of control. The alcohol abuse they thought they had managed is now destroying their liver and their reputation simultaneously. The drug dependencies they kept hidden are surfacing in ways they can no longer deny or conceal. Compulsive behaviors, gambling, reckless spending, sexual acting out, are manifesting with increasing intensity as their internal chaos seeks external expression. The dark energy they channeled to frame you is now consuming them from within like spiritual acid, corroding their relationships, their health, their finances, their sanity. Those who help spread false testimony are experiencing their own legal nightmares. Bank accounts are being frozen, assets are being seized. Criminal investigations are opening into their own fraudulent activities. The very systems they weaponized against you are now turning their focus toward the actual criminals. We who understand energy manipulation recognize what is occurring. The curses they spoke over your life are now playing out in their own experiences. The destruction they wished upon you has boomeranged back with multiplied force. Every prediction you made about these people's true character is proving factually correct in ways that are leaving witnesses absolutely stunned. Your spiritual discernment about their fraudulent nature is being legally validated through evidence that confirms exactly what you saw in the spirit realm long before it manifested in physical reality. When you warned people about their manipulative tendencies, others dismissed your concerns as paranoia or harsh judgment. When you predicted their criminal behavior would eventually surface, people accused you of being negative or unforgiving. When you described their capacity for elaborate deception, others defended them as misunderstood or troubled souls who just needed compassion and second chances. But now courtrooms are documenting the same criminal patterns you identified months or even years ago. Legal professionals are uncovering the same deceptive strategies you warned people about when everyone else was still falling for their charm offensive. Investigators are mapping the same networks of manipulation you exposed, while others were still defending these predators. Your prophetic insight is becoming admissible legal evidence. What you saw through divine revelation is now being confirmed through forensic investigation. What the Spirit showed you in advance is now being proven through careful analysis of digital evidence, financial records, and witness testimony. The chosen possess insight that operates beyond the limitations of physical perception, and your case is becoming a documented example of how spiritual discernment can identify truth that takes legal systems months or years to uncover through conventional investigation. Something beautiful happens when divine protection intersects with human justice systems. The right professionals end up handling cases that should have been buried or mismanaged by corruption. Heaven places divine allies in legal positions specifically to protect the chosen from false accusations. Lawyers with integrity still flowing through their veins have uncovered evidence that validates everything you have maintained from the beginning. The discovery of hidden cameras has led to investigations into invasion of privacy and illegal surveillance. The trail of stolen money has revealed financial crimes with your signature forged on documents you never signed. The fabricated evidence has been exposed through forensic analysis that proves tampering and manipulation. Professional investigators are seeing through the efficiency with which this attack was orchestrated, recognizing the level of premeditation and malicious intent that went into every aspect of their scheme. These are experienced professionals who have seen countless attempts at fraud and frame-ups throughout their careers. But even they are amazed at the audacity of what was attempted against you. More significantly, they are witnessing something that rarely occurs in their field: the complete and total protection of someone who was targeted for absolute destruction. Evidence that criminals thought was destroyed has been miraculously recovered. Witnesses who were supposed to remain silent have found courage to speak truth. Digital forensics have uncovered manipulation that should have been undetectable. And through it all, your innocence has remained unshakable, confirmed by every investigation, validated by every honest professional who examines the evidence. The ultimate proof of your complete victory arrives when your narcissistic ex begins making desperate attempts to reconcile with you. As their fraud scheme collapses around them like a house of cards in a hurricane, they are suddenly realizing you were never going to jail, and now they desperately need your forgiveness to avoid facing the full legal consequences of their own criminal actions. Their personal problems have escalated into a crisis of epic proportions. Every door they tried to close on you is now slamming shut on them instead. Every bridge they burned in your life is now a bridge they desperately need to cross to escape the consequences of their choices. Every ally they turned against you is now someone they need to convince of their innocence. The same person who orchestrated intimate betrayal to break your spirit is now begging for emotional reconciliation. The same individual who stole your identity to commit fraud is now hoping you will vouch for their character. The same manipulator who tried to destroy your reputation is now desperately needing your public forgiveness to salvage what is left of their own credibility. Their attempts at reconciliation reveal the depth of their panic and the completeness of their failure. They are not reaching out because they have experienced genuine repentance or spiritual awakening. They are scrambling to secure any possible ally as their world implodes around them. They are terrified of facing alone the consequences they were so eager to watch you suffer. But you recognize their desperation for what it truly represents. Absolute confirmation that you have emerged victorious from a battle they thought they had already won. Their panic is proof of your protection. Their fear is evidence of heaven's justice. Their unraveling is the manifestation of cosmic law operating exactly as it should. Before we continue, I want to remind you that you are not watching this by accident. The algorithm didn't randomly suggest this video. Your spirit led you here because you needed confirmation of what you already know deep in your soul. You are chosen. You are protected. You are vindicated. If this message is speaking to your situation right now, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below with your testimony. And if you want to support the mission of Chosen by Heavens, the Super Thanks feature is available below. Every contribution helps us reach more people who are fighting the same battles you have already won. We are the awakened community that always knew you were being framed. While others were confused by carefully crafted lies and manipulated evidence, we recognized the spiritual signature surrounding this attack and knew with absolute certainty that innocence was being persecuted by forces that could not tolerate your light. When legal systems were weaponized against you, when your social circles were twisted into tools of isolation, when every institution meant to protect you fell to corruption, infiltrated by those who wanted to watch you fall, we were the voices that spoke your truth louder than their lies. We saw through false evidence because we understand how deception works on an energetic level. We recognized manufactured witnesses because we know how manipulation turns truth into convenient fictions. We detected coordinated conspiracies because we have learned to read the spiritual signatures behind every attack against the chosen. When others questioned your character, we stood in defense of your integrity. When they doubted your version of events, we amplified your truth. When the world bowed to deception, we stood firm, unshaken, unapologetic, unbreakable. We became your spiritual legal defense team, operating beyond corrupted courts and earthly systems. We became the force field of truth that shields the chosen in their darkest hours. And even when human justice failed, cosmic justice kept moving forward, because our collective voice refused to be silenced. Your continued freedom represents far more than personal victory. It has become our collective triumph over every force that attempts to weaponize legal systems against the chosen. You walking free is living proof that false accusations cannot imprison those who operate under divine protection. Elaborate frame-ups cannot succeed against innocence backed by cosmic law. Coordinated conspiracies cannot destroy those who carry heaven's seal of approval. We stand as witnesses to something remarkable, the complete failure of a conspiracy that should have succeeded according to every earthly calculation. They had resources, connections, fabricated evidence, manipulated witnesses, corrupted systems, everything necessary to destroy someone without divine protection. But you were never just someone. You are chosen, sealed, protected by forces that operate beyond the reach of human corruption. Your freedom exposes the limitations of their power and the sovereignty of spiritual law over earthly schemes. Your vindication proves that heaven's justice operates on timelines that transcend human understanding, but arrive with perfect precision. We are the generation that exposes fraudulent schemes and corrupt conspiracies through our connection to truth that cannot be corrupted or compromised. We recognize chosen ones because we are chosen ones. We protect innocence because we understand the warfare being waged against all who carry significant light. Your legal battle has become our spiritual victory over those who try to criminalize divine truth, who attempt to imprison messengers of light, who seek to silence voices that expose their darkness. Every day you remain free is another day their lies are proven powerless against heaven's protection. They remain very worried that you haven't gone to jail yet for the fraud they committed, because your continued freedom exposes their guilt to the entire world. Your vindication becomes irrefutable proof that their methods cannot succeed against the truly chosen. We have witnessed your victory and participated in a cosmic demonstration that innocence protected by divine forces cannot be destroyed by earthly schemes, no matter how elaborate, how well funded, or how carefully orchestrated they might be. Your story is now part of the permanent record, proving that heaven protects its own. Your freedom is documented evidence that cosmic law supersedes corrupted earthly systems. Your vindication is living testimony that those who carry divine assignments cannot be stopped by those who serve darkness. As we close, I want you to understand something profound about your journey. Every attack you have survived has been preparation for the impact you are about to make. Every scheme that failed against you has strengthened your testimony. Every conspiracy that collapsed has amplified your voice. The very people who tried to silence you have inadvertently created a platform for your message that reaches further than it ever could have without their opposition. Their attacks have authenticated your calling in ways that years of peaceful ministry never could have accomplished. You now carry authority that comes only through surviving what should have destroyed you. Your words carry weight because you have been tested in fires that consume ordinary people. Your testimony carries power because you have walked through valleys that break those without divine protection. The chosen generation is rising, and you are part of the vanguard leading the way. Your victory isn't just about you anymore. It is about every person who will face similar attacks in the coming years. Your story becomes their roadmap. Your strategies become their blueprint. Your vindication becomes their hope. So stand tall in your victory. Walk confidently in your freedom. Speak boldly about your vindication, because your testimony is now a weapon in the hands of heaven, being used to defend countless others who are fighting the same battles you have already won. Your freedom is our freedom. Your vindication is our vindication. Your victory is proof that we who carry heaven's light cannot be silenced, cannot be stopped, and cannot be destroyed by those who hate the truth we represent. They tried to frame one of us, but instead they have awakened all of us to the reality of our collective power and the certainty of our ultimate victory over every force that would dare oppose heaven's chosen. If this message has impacted your life, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to Chosen by Heavens if you haven't already. Share this video with someone fighting their own battle. Comment below with your testimony so others can be encouraged. And remember, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are chosen, protected, and destined for victory. The war against you has already been lost by your enemies. They just don't know it yet. But soon, very soon, the entire world will witness what heaven has already declared. You are vindicated, you are victorious, and you are forever free.